Background. The Open University is the largest university in the UK, got around 175,000 students, and our mission is to be open to people, places, methods and ideas. And the people part's really important to us, the human aspect. And other universities quite often reference academic excellence when it comes to their mission statements, but we're very keen on the human aspect. So yeah, we want people to be able to develop their potential as humans. Another difference is our the criteria for studying at the OU. We haven't got any, essentially. Anyone can be an OU student. So that means we're bursting at the seams with non-traditional students, be it people full-time work who've got to fit their studies around their lunch breaks or commutes, stay-at-home parents who work deep into the night once the children are in bed. We've had soldiers who've had to complete assessments while under rocket attack on their base. We even had a submariner who completed their studies whilst deep under the sea. Not sure how the logistics work with that, but it has been done. So we've got 175,000 students with 175,000 different stories of obstacles and challenges they've faced. But there's one challenge that unites them all, and that's the challenge of distance learning. With distance learning, there's clearly going to be some issues, and some of them are well known. With distance learning, there's isolation, feelings of isolation. That can lead to feelings of demotivation, and with demotivation, engagement can drop, and when engagement drops, retention becomes an issue. These are fairly well understood, and people work quite a lot to deal with that. But there's another aspect that sometimes gets overlooked, and that is around the interaction skills with other humans that you would develop in a face-to-face environment that you don't get necessarily in a distance learning environment. And that was a challenge some academics thought they wanted to have a look at and see if we could do anything about that. So this started with a couple of academics thinking about this, and they worked in design studios, and they realised in that environment students would obviously do the work they're meant to be doing, but they'd also have the impromptu conversations with other students, just commenting on their work, comparing work with others, giving feedback, and they'd have their own work commented on, and they'd use that to make their work better. But they'd also have to learn how to give that feedback in a useful way, and deal with rejections and such like, and how they get criticism of their own work. So it's useful for that. And the academics were thinking, could we replicate that in a digital environment? Also, was there anything in a digital environment that the digital studio could offer that not necessarily available in a physical environment? Just a picture of a design studio in case you doubted they existed. So when we think about developing something like this, one of the things the OU always asks itself is, do we build something ourselves, or do we take in a third-party tool or see what else is available out there? Obviously in this case we build something ourselves, otherwise we wouldn't be here talking about it. But there's a few things that go towards those sort of decisions, and that includes, in this instance, the concept of a safe space. We wanted students to feel comfortable in taking chances with their work. Maybe it's going a little bit further than they were comfortable with in order to get that feedback from other students. But then we thought, well, they really had to feel safe in that environment, and some of the platforms that we looked at weren't going to be suitable in terms of that. We wanted to be able to control who would see their work. Also with third parties, there's always the risk of surprises, changes in functionality, changes in license and downtime when it's least appropriate for assessments and such like. Maybe it might get sold to another company, such as Fitbit being sold to Google. Linked to that a little bit, the confidence in data. When you are using third parties, there's questions around how's the data going to be used. Is it going to go to an organisation you don't necessarily want? Will it be used by the other organisation for their profit and not for the student's benefit? Doing something in-house would mean all that data stayed safe within the OU. No third parties will have access to that. And more basically, for the pedagogical reasons they were hoping to develop it, there was nothing quite like it at that time doing exactly what they wanted. And as it's developed further, that's still been the case. Little quirks here and there that were quite strong for the academics weren't quite available elsewhere. So we've got quite a bit of experience in developing digital tools and embedding them successfully within learning at the OU. So we thought we could do that. We started work, and it was the usual model to build a lo-fi pilot, try to see how that worked, and that was on one sort of design photography type module. It was used in anger, so to speak. Feedback came from the academics, the tutors, the students. That was used to enhance it. And we went through this cycle over a period of presentations over a number of years. Each time adding more academics were interested, so we added more functionality to cover different areas. And over time, several years, it proved its worth. It was quite clearly a useful tool, and it was proven beneficial in studies. But with this iterative process, there can be issues. One thing around the code base, as it was developed bit by bit as time went by, we found its reliability was starting to suffer. We were getting more bugs than we thought were acceptable, so we wanted to address that. And adding functionality in a piecemeal fashion sometimes leads to UX issues. It hasn't been thought about from the start how people will be taken on a journey through the tool. So we managed to get a fairly substantial portion of strategic funding to redevelop OpenStudio with a full code refactoring and a UX refresh. And that's what I'm going to give you a little look at today. So just the big points around it. This was something that was developed to help people share their work, curate the work of others, and get feedback in order to enhance their the work they do. So at first glance, that's what you'd look at with OpenStudio. You can see it's been inspired by social media. To a certain extent, that's what students expect these days. They know they're comfortable in this environment. There's an element of intuitiveness, even if it's the first time they've used the tool, which is handy for us. This is a very visual aspect we're using here with the pictures, but there's a whole range of file types you can use. You can have images, you can have audio files, you can embed media files from like YouTube and such like. There's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and there's also some not so common file types. For example, we've got CAD files for 3D design, we have Python notebooks for people doing data science or some coding. And these are, when you upload them, they'll go into a stream view, and the student can decide who they want to share this with. You can share with the whole course, or you can choose to be with a particular group. At the OU, we tend to focus that around tutor groups, but it can be bespoke groups if you wish. Or you might decide to put it just into your own personal pin board, and that's something that only the student can see. That can be useful for starting developing a mood board, works in progress, starting to build collections. Or they can share directly with the tutor if they want specific feedback on a piece of work and before they submit it to the wider audience. You might see with the Sydney Opera House there, it looks like it's in a folder, and that's because it is a folder. As well as being able to upload individual posts, you can choose to create a folder where you can have a themed collection of work. This can be useful for developing your own personal exhibition or curating the work of others. For example, you could bring in the works of your favourite artist and have your favourite pieces of work there. Or alternatively, you can curate the work of other students on your course. If they've uploaded something to OpenStudio, you can bring that into your collection. That can be useful for this way of having to make tough decisions on other people's work and building up those emotional skills around coping when you haven't been chosen, or when you speak to others about why you didn't choose their work. And yes, this is a very visual aspect, but it's being used in a range of faculties now. For example, science courses are using it in terms of experiments. They might have a folder relating to a hypothesis, the experiment, the results they obtained, and then any conclusions they've drawn from that. Clicking into the post itself gives you, well, the main part of it when you can see the details on it. You've got an image at the top there. If it's an image, you can maximize it and get a larger view on that. Underneath that, we have a description that can be added. That's used in the Yatto editor, so although it's simple text there, it can have a range of media, links, and whatever. Its ability to tag, so if you click on any of the tags, it'll be shown a new stream view with all posts that have been tagged with a similar tag. We've got some social interaction along the Smiley's favourites there. Again, inspired by the likes of Facebook. They're fully configurable. You can have any and all of them. It's up for the module teams or the course teams to choose what they'd like to have there. Details on the number of times it's appeared in somebody else's folders, the number of views. And then at the bottom you have the actual conversations around that. It's threaded conversations there. Again, using the Yatto editor, so although these are quite brief, you can have quite in-depth conversations going on there. And this is one of the areas we found it's in some respects better than a physical lab. And that in a physical lab, you have a finite number of people in that space you can talk to. When you have a studio, when you've got a global reach, you can have far more context and culture to the conversations that take place that can be very useful. Looking up to the top right, where we have post archive, this is something we wanted to encourage students to develop work and improve it. What this does is when they change a piece of work, rather than having to make a new post or delete their old piece of work, they can just archive the current one, put a new version in, and then you can look back and see how a piece of work's developed over time in relation to comments that have been made. It also gives them the confidence they can take a risk, go forward, try something out. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't get good feedback, they can revert back to an older version without any problems there. Also, EXIF data, by default, EXIF data is stripped from any uploads, but in some courses, such as photography, they find that useful. A student can choose on an upload by upload basis if they wish to include that, and the course team would decide if they would actually show that as well. You can also have formal activities where module or course teams can choose a particular bit of activity they expect to be done. For example, poster competitions are quite interesting, where somebody has to develop a poster and discuss it with their students, discuss with other students. These can be formalised, so you can have lock-in whereby maybe the slot doesn't become available until a certain date, or it actually closes on a certain date where no more edits can be made after a certain time on a certain day. That can be useful for formal assessment. And yeah, again, the nod to social media. Going back to the start, it's the engagement. It can be an issue with the distance learning. So we use the things we know work in social media to help encourage people to use these things. So you can see in stream view if anybody's had a social interaction or made a comment on your post. If the stream's moved on quite a bit and there's quite a lot of posts, you'll still have a notification sort of message there stating all the notifications you've had if anybody's interacted or somebody's replied to a comment that you've made on that discussion. If it gets too busy, you can just hide the notifications and you won't get them on that post. We also have a progress bar for set activities to show students how far they've made it through those set activities, and we find this works quite well. In terms of whether it's been successful, I don't think I really need to explain to people how hard it is to try and measure a particular digital tool and link it to student success. We try to avoid success theatre of graphs going up and to the right, more people are using it, or the truisms of, well, people who use it a lot have done very well. That tends to be the case. But what we do take as a good measure is the old-fashioned, would you recommend us to a friend? If we have academics contact us and say, we'd like to use this on our module because we've heard very good things about it from another module team, that's taken as a good thing. So taking that as a measure, at the last count before I came away, we had 80 instances of Open Studio running in courses this year. I think that's from around about 400 modules in total, so that's not bad, given that to a certain extent it's a niche activity. And again, we've had 40,000 students actively use it with over 250,000 posts so far. And I think those numbers are actually higher there, slightly out of date. We get lots of feedback, good feedback from people. We do get some negative feedback, obviously. We take that on board to enhance things. The negative feedback tends to be around particular technical issues or little tweaks in the interface around the actual concept. It tends to be positive from academics and students that they like the whole idea of using Open Studio and they find it beneficial. I did say it's hard to make the link between digital tool use and student outcomes, but we're in a university, there's always researchers willing to put the effort in to find some links, and there has been some connection made positively, even just for lurking. If people don't interact massively, it's still a benefit having that available. And it's been nice to have some external recognition, being shortlisted for some national awards in the UK for Open Studio, and I think we're actually up for the Reimagine Education Award next month. We'll see how we'll get on there. In the future, we're always thinking, where can we take it next? How do we develop it? What's the next step? At the moment, we think we're in a good enough position with it. We're happy with what it does, that we're giving it to the Moodle community now. At the moment, it's just in our GitHub repository. But the plan is, going forward, we do intend to do it as a proper plugin if we can. We haven't got the full guidance with it yet. We will take the guidance we give to our own students and just tweak it, because it's not going to be exactly the same. The theming will be slightly different. There'll be a few functional changes, just because the Open University's version of Moodle is slightly different. But we'll have full guidance for the students, staff, and the technical guidance for setting it up. But yeah, that's available now. If you follow our Twitter account, and it's beyond the last slide, and we'll have more details. We'll have blogs and details about that when it comes along. So in summary, I think in a time we're always getting asked about things around artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality. It's important to consider the human aspect. We've really tried to do that with Open Studio. We think we've done a good job with it. The students seem to like it, the tutors seem to like it. So we think it's time we shared it. Thank you. I said there was a last slide, didn't I? There you go. There's the Twitter account, Go Team or you. Any questions?
It's difficult to switch from this pupil presentation to something which looks the same but is real.
It was nice to see the student presentation, see their thought patterns. Some of them we're in line with, but some of them do some great ideas. We were thinking this morning we should get them on board and have a chat with them ourselves.
Thank you for doing it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the version you're releasing on GitHub, that we install right away?
Yes, I believe so. Unfortunately, I haven't got one of the technical people with us. They couldn't make it to answer the question. But yes, you should be able to take it now and start using it straight away.
Thank you. What you showed is very indicative of what virtual action learning can be, and I've always struggled with how to implement virtual action learning in Moodle. What were previous experiences for Open University that led to design choices you made regarding this learning process that you enable?
We weren't going right back before Open Studio, or yes. Probably couldn't answer that properly. I know we've used things like forums and such like to share information. We've tried different tools. I think, I see where this came from the academics. They clearly didn't feel things were quite hitting the mark. So it was from their idea they came up with what they wanted at an initial stage, and we just built on from that. It's we can't take the credit as the learning systems team for what's going on. It's working in conjunction with them. So unfortunately, I can't explain more than that.
Hi, thank you. This looks great. What happens with the data afterwards from the students? Once they're finished with the course, can they retrieve it and keep it, or how does that work? Is there an export function?
It'll be the standard Moodle login, so however your institution deals with data in that respect, and we don't do anything differently other than our normal warehousing activities, but it will be removed after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Can you export?
Actually, the data, if you could do Moodle data, yes, but in terms of the student work, you think as well, that can all be exported. So they can take their work away with them afterwards as well, along with the comments and such like, sorry.
How far have you gone with the mobile development?
I've actually got the mobile people in. We haven't got that. Well, sorry. In terms of working in the app, it doesn't work. In terms of working on mobile, it's fully responsive as part of the UX refresh. It works entirely on mobile, yeah.
All right, we've got time for 2 more questions.
But not in the app.
Not with the app yet, but it works perfectly fine on mobile.
I want to know at what level is it integrated with Moodle, and how these assessments, how you figure, what's the approach for assessments? Is it with a Moodle assignment, or is it just an internal tool of Open Studio?
I'm not quite certain. Sorry, I can't answer that. It's, I'm not sure how it links in with the assessment. I think we might be using Gradebook in some way. Our assessment person isn't here, but yes, it doesn't link directly from Open Studio into the assessment system, but it's in a sufficient state that it can be passed over. So I don't know the technicalities, but I know it is used for formal assessments.
Last question.
Just want to understand if it's on the course scope or the user scope. I mean, you have a studio and everyone can share and have it. So it's students in the same course or in all the courses, or how does it work?
At the moment, it's mainly over the course. We do have an exception where we have a qualification, where people on a qualification can have an instance of that, but it is usually limited to the course. But this is one of the things we're looking at. Whether it's course and presentation, we're looking at options around that as we move forward. Do we stay with that? Do we allow people to develop over several presentations and build their studio as they go on? These are things that are in discussion at the moment. It's still being developed and will continue to be developed for some time.
All right, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right. I'll need your... Oh, Maya, we got it. It's all good. Do you have your presentation on a USB drive? Yeah. Right, I have a USB for you. I would love you to get it on there. Oh, you're going to have a hard time getting it there. You can get it onto a web location if you can from here. Yeah, sure. Go for it, as quick as you can, please. Right, well, we're getting set up for the next presentation. Again, if you're sitting on the door edges of the seats, please move towards the middle so the people who come in a little bit later during the session don't have to walk in front of the presenter. Everybody, if you're not flush up against the edge, that's all of you. Come towards the middle, please. Cool, no worries. If you could, once the presentation is on, and copy it, just double check the full screen by any 5 minutes. Okay. Yep. Yep. Not too complex.
Says PDF or PowerPoint best? PowerPoint best?
PowerPoint class, yeah, thanks. You can take that one with you if you like. F5, good to go. All right, if you could please welcome Adam Jenkins.
Thank you very much for coming, and apologizing, first of all, for the terrible standard of my voice. I've had some lovely Moodle-based conversations recently, and it has taken its toll, so I hope the microphone keeps working. Okay, anyway, I'm from Australia originally, but actually live and work in Japan at the Shizuoka Institute of Science and Technology. There is another professor called Professor Eric Hagley, and he actually started this project I'm talking about today. It's the International Virtual Exchange Project. He kicked it off by actually having a colleague in Colombia that he actually started doing class exchanges with, just his class and their class. And then later on, he figured, okay, we should grow this and make it even bigger and better. And now it's become a more worldwide movement for international virtual exchange. So I'm going to start off by mentioning about the why we are doing what we're doing, what exactly it is that we're doing and how we do it. And then finally also I'd like to invite you all to participate in the project if you're interested in it. It's free, it is funded by a Japanese Kakenhi grant, so you don't actually have to pay for it either. You can get your students on very quickly for the next exchange, which will be early next year. So, here we go. Oh, okay, just left and right. Okay, great, thank you. So the why, to start with the why, well, we actually do quite admire this motto of Moodle, which is empowering educators to improve our world. One of the ways that we can see that we can improve our world is by increasing global communication amongst the people in the world. People tend not to wage wars against other people they like. So if we actually can get better understanding, intercultural understanding, and in the process as well, as English teachers, do our job in educating our students in English and giving them authentic opportunities to use the language, then we are not only teaching our students English, but we're improving our world. So that's the why. The project is the International Virtual Exchange Project. This is how we're trying to improve the world. And what it is 2,500 students, basically from 5 continents, 15 countries, communicating together with the one language. So the one language being English, but so many people from all around the world discussing various topics. That is basically what we are doing. And the countries that participate these days, as I said, it began with basically Colombia and Japan being the only 2 participating countries, but now it has spread to the Philippines, Ecuador, and even Spain. So it really has become quite a worldwide movement. One of the unique aspects of our exchange is that instead of having it, a lot of online exchanges tend to be between a non-English speaking country and an English native speaking country, like America and Japan, or Australia and Korea. But ours tends to be more second language speakers talking to second language speakers. Everybody is starting with the same goal and the same position. Their starting position is identical to their fellow students who they're communicating with. So the way that we do it, the how, we essentially have a guided forum. And this is the main part of our exchange. It is broken into 4 parts, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and they have, more seeded discussion. We actually give them the topics, for example, introduce yourself and events in our lives, and we actually present it in this sort of a graphic way that also incorporates some visual communication aspects of it. But introducing yourself is the first one, then events, and then we talk about the culture around us, so your daily lifestyle and things that are actually there. So the events might be more like festivals and things like that, the once in a year type stuff, and then the daily lifestyle stuff as well. And then to bring it all together, we have what I learned from the other people in the exchange. But some students aren't going to particularly like this because they say, well, I want to discuss my favorite singer or something like that. So for them, we also have the open forum. The open forum is essentially an anything goes forum. This is, students are allowed to start their own discussions based on whatever topic they choose. On occasion, some students do choose some topics that we might consider rather inappropriate. So we do sometimes have to step in and delete some posts. But generally speaking, this also tends to have the students more motivated to participate in this one simply because they choose the topics and they choose what they want to share. We have also made a few modifications to the core Moodle forum. And actually recently, the Moodle forum changes that have happened in Moodle 3.7 and will continue into 3.8, 3.9 are a result of a Moodle Users Association project that we actually were the main proponents of. And so we've also made some additional changes just here. You might see that some of the columns that you normally might see, like groups and things like that, are missing. Generally because in this particular forum, they're not very useful. So we got rid of them. In addition, the subscribe button, which tends to be an envelope that is just closed or open, it does not really communicate very much visually at all. So we've actually changed that with both a color-coded one, and because it's got a tick or a cross, it is much more easy for students to follow and understand. This was also in response to the user's requests. So we've made it a bit more easy. One common complaint that we received quite a lot was actually this student name, where the student name comes up, last post by. For some reason that links to the student's profile. So students would say, oh, last post by that person, click, and then they're in a strange place. Why am I on the student's profile? I wanted to see his post. So basically, we just got rid of those links. We just edited the mustache template and got rid of those. So the other things that we do include some side projects. So we're trying to also get the students to take a sort of a PBL type, a project-based learning type activity as well, where we give them something that they can create together. So all the students from all around the world, having different cultures, different recipes, let's share some recipes. So all of the students are free to contribute their own recipes with a picture and the instruction, the ingredients section, and there's a procedure section, and this is done using the Moodle database module. It's fairly customized. We have the template is actually built using CSS Grid so that it can fill up and if you have the screen set to demagnify, you can see that there are lots and lots and lots of recipes that just fit straight in there. Another side project that we have that is built in a very similar way is the photo of the day. And so students can post a photo of what the world around them looks like. This one also has a instruction for the students that they are not supposed to get images off the internet for this one. It must be a photo that they have taken, something that is deeply relevant to their life. and they can add the photo with the caption. There are categories for these photos, so different things. Some of the categories are very, very simple, just a pair of shoes. So take a photo of a pair of shoes somewhere, and that's part of the life. So it really grounds it in a everyday type thing. This photo here is actually taken outside of a university in Hakodate on the North Island of Japan, and it's a very beautiful view outside of that professor's window. Almost feel like I want to be there. Anyway, that's basically what it is and what we are doing. So if you feel like you would like some more information, please access the QR code. There's the URL as well at the top and my email address. So if you feel like you would like to get your students online with the IVE project, please contact us and we'll make sure that you're all set and ready to go. So thank you very much, and any questions, I'll try to keep my voice active to answer them.
Good round of applause. Right, questions? Fantastic.
I guess I use this one now.
Morning. You've said you are using database activity.
Yeah.
It's quite tricky to use it. Do you agree with that? Do your users, most important, agree with this, or did they have any difficulty using it?
Yes, well, the database is, the trickiest part is setting it up. But if you set it up with the appropriate fields and then format them in a way that also visually communicates what's happening and make it very obvious, then the students can follow it quite easily. But yes, setting it up required a lot of thought in how we were going to put the templates for the add entry template, list template, and the single template. In the example of the recipe book, for example, we have the ingredients section, and that also, when they have the add template, it does actually say, these are the ingredients that we're adding, this is what's needed, this is the information that you put here, this is the type of information that you should put in the procedure. And so it makes it easier for them to follow. A lot of support was necessary for that. So yes, a straight up database with no template editing probably wouldn't work at all. So yes, very good point.
Any other questions? Right, in that case, one last round of applause for Adam. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Quite a beast to slip into. It's not for the faint of heart.
Evening up that first part, yes. We also do that 5 scouts for the rifles.
Oh, right.
Actually, I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, the students get raped with this after they're
Share this one with the audience.
Oh, sorry. I was just mentioning, and one thing that I did forget to mention about the database thing that we set up with the recipes was that we did also change the rating system to a 5-star based rating. And so students, once they tried the recipe, once they cooked the recipe, they would come back, add a rating, and add a comment at the bottom as well to say, oh, this tasted great, or I don't think many Japanese people would like this recipe, or whatever they wanted to say. So that was also pretty cool. So yeah, I should have mentioned that in the presentation. I'll have to do that next time.
Thanks very much. All right, we're running a little bit ahead of time, so we're going to take about a 5-minute break until we start our next presentation. If anyone wants to take the opportunity, then we'll be back shortly. Learning performance. Into a place to actually really All right, folks, before we start the next session, just a little bit of quick housekeeping. If you're sitting on an edge or an aisle, please shift towards the middle so that people who are joining this session later can easily jump on one of the seats from near the doorway. If there's a gap towards the middle, please shuffle down into it. That side as well, I can see a couple of gaps here. Shuffle down into the gaps from the doorway if you would, please. All right, last housekeeping, mobile phones on silent if you haven't already, and up next we have Yedidia Klein who's talking to us about Moodle Video Directory. Quick round of applause, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's better to be at the middle. See everyone. So I want to talk about Moodle Video Directory that we developed. Let's take the presentation. First of all, some words about me and the OpenUp, that is the company that I'm working with. It's an open source, small open source company. I'm one of the co-founder, and here you can see it's in Jerusalem, in Israel, and we're doing some in other things, but also Moodle integrations and development. I would like to talk about Moodle Video Directory structure. So a little bit technique. It's based on two Moodle modules. One is a local plugin for having the directory, for managing the directory, and second is a module, an activity for using these videos inside courses. video managed in a directory that is a side of Moodle and not inside a course. Means it's managed beside Moodle, and you can use the videos that are in this directory inside every course in Moodle. And because of that, if you update a video in the directory, it will update on any course that this video is used. I don't know if you know this problem, or maybe it's not a problem, but sometimes you want to upload or to update some kind of activity that is used in more than one course, and you have to go to one another course. So here, that's the way it works. Basic features are, first of all, permissions. We use system roles, mean if you want a teacher or a manager or anyone to access the directory, he should belong to the role. It's for the directory, not for the module inside the course. The module inside the course is used by a teacher with permissions in the course of course. You can upload any type of video. There is a lot of type of videos around, and the conversion is done on the server side. You don't have to care about your video type. And you can tag, you can categorize, you can rename, you can manage this directory. You can also upload subtitles if you have a known subtitles file like SRT or something like that, and will be together with the video. We are using open source streaming system. That's a very technical slide. I'll just explain that we are using state-of-the-art streaming tools that do adaptive bitrate. Means that if you have slow internet connectivity, you will get a smooth video with less quality. And if you have a good internet connectivity, you will have better quality. And we are using open source tools as shown here. The side of the plugin that is used inside the course is called Mode Video Stream, and it allows the teacher to insert the video inside the course. We are also logging video events to Moodle log for knowing if we want to know that a student is watching the video and is seeking at the middle of the video, is stopping, is getting to the end of the video. We can later, as teacher, read the log of the course and understand what our students are doing with our video and how do they use it. It could be much, much more. It's just the beginning, but we're giving basic information about student usage of this video. Student also can add annotation on the video. As you can see here, these are annotations that students add. It's on the video time, meaning if he wants later to rewatch the video and just go to minutes 12 where the important issues are, so he just click on the annotation and it just jumps to here. I used another module for watching it, just made the change. Here's the for another video module. What are the advanced feature of this directory? First of all, there is Studio for online editing videos. Now, it's not a video editing software, but it has some basic tools that it can help us to manage the videos, like cropping. I will show it in more details on the next slide. Merging two videos mean I have two videos and I want to merge one in big and one in small, like the teacher and the presentation. So I get two videos, one of the teacher and one of the presentation, and I merge them. I put the teacher in small on the video, and the slideshow is the main video. We can concatenate, we can cut at the beginning if there is some seconds without anything or garbage at the end. We can just cut it inside the system without downloading, editing, uploading, etc. And we can also auto-create subtitles. That's a very cool feature. It's using Google API, and it's not free, but it's not very expensive. And you just have to create a Google account with cloud and everything. And you can just send the video and get automatic subtitles in the language of the video. I mean, if the video is in English, you are telling Google the video is in English, and you are getting subtitles automatically. That's very useful. It's not 100% accurate. There are errors, and we'll see that there are ways to fix it after. And we have version management of these videos. If you upload a new version, of the video. You can see the old version, you can restore the old version, you can see everything. And you can also bring automatic and direct download from a URL on the web if you have the access of a MP4 file, or even to YouTube. I'm not talking about legal issues of downloading movies from YouTube. There are, but technically you can set that it downloads directly from YouTube. This system is already in use in some big companies and universities in Israel, like ELAL, that is Israel Airlines, Basics, that is Israel Telecommunication, and other companies. Now let's just jump inside the how it looks and how we use it. So that's the first page of the directory. Just to show here, you have an icon. That's a very cool way to getting fast access to specific things. And you have an icon that go to the video directory. The icon is shown only to users that have rights to access the directory. And it looks like that, and people can just see the videos that they uploaded. Just a few remarks. There is a thumbnail for clicking, and it also shows the video. You see the state of the video, because when you upload a video, it takes time till it's converted and ready. So you see if it's already ready and you can use it. You can also see which courses is it used. I preferred to use ideas of courses, and if you go over with it, you can see the name of the course, because sometimes there is a lot. And there is tags and views and tools for actioning. That's a way of uploading a video. Uploading is very, very simple. You just drag and drop as you upload a file in Moodle, and it's there. You don't have to give a description or owner or everything. It just takes the defaults. The description is the name of the file. The owner is the person that uploads the video. If you are a manager and you want to give it to someone else, you can use more fields. Let's see the way of getting subtitles for a video. You click on one of the buttons and get to the screen. You choose your language, forget it, but you have to tell Moodle, and then you get paragraph of the video. That's the way Google gives you information of subtitles. You get paragraph, and you get also the timing of each word. So you can see that the paragraph, for example, has some mistakes. So you have a little pencil here on the right. You can just click it and get to this page for editing your subtitles, and you get every word with its timing, and you can just fix the typos and mistakes, or they are. The video editing studio has some tools, as I mentioned before, like cropping, merging, cutting, and everything, so you can just click on them and get, that's an example. Sometimes videos has black lines at the sides or at the top. You can just choose your mouse and change it. And then when you do it, you have two options. You can create a new version of this video, or the other option is to get a new video. So you have another video in the directory or a new version of the same video. We have also some kind of video portal that looks, let's say, like YouTube, if you want to be. Then as you can see the videos, it's organized by their views, and you can even search them. It searches the video name and also the subtitles. Means if you have text from the video, it will search the whole text of the video, and clicking on a video will get us to a video player. That's a movie that I took from YouTube about Martin, and I even get subtitles, and it's even working in a kind of way. This is how you put the video inside the course. Once the video is inside the video directory, you can use it inside your course. As you can see, it's a regular insertion of an activity inside the course. You have the name, you have the description, and there is some specific video options. One of them is the dimension, if you want to show the video in a specific dimension that you know, or the best way is to do it responsively, then automatically it will use the wall width of your browser. You can also decide if you want to display the video inline in the main page course. Means you don't have to click on an activity to get to see the video. It will show on the main page course. And of course, you can choose the video like, you know, the known Moodle chooser. You can just start typing and choosing it, or choosing from a list. It looks like that for the student. As I mentioned before, there is the bookmarking, the annotation on the bottom. So the student can add here an annotation. He can flag it if you want, and then it will stay for every student his annotation. It's not public, it's not shared. Every student has his annotation. I'm thinking about maybe giving the teachers the ability to create shared annotation. And I would like to finish and to speak some words about future and thoughts that we had using and developing this directory. So first of all, integration with other video directory that is not inside Moodle. I saw a very nice presentation yesterday here about an integration with OpenCast, and I think that it's important. OpenCast is used for recording classes, and if recorded classes will be internally, immediately inside Moodle, it will be very useful for the teacher or the manager to use it inside courses. API for Google, we have it for getting automatic subtitles, but it could be very interesting in huge MOOC that are international to have automatic translation to multi-languages using Google API for translate. It's not easy, there are problems of scheduling and everything, but could be, we can get something to work. And the last issue I think is the most important and interesting issue is how to manage files beside Moodle. Here I gave an example of using videos that are beside Moodle, and we use them in courses. Now, videos are uploading in a lot of types, and we use them in streaming them inside the course. Now, teachers almost all the time upload Office files, and they want to upload and manage their Office files in a place, and they want the users, the students, access PDF files, just for not spreading the file around and no one can edit them, etc. So I'm just thinking about using the same directory for Office files, doing the conversion with tools of conversion that do exist in Moodle to PDFs, and then the teacher can use the PDF inside the course and manage a directory beside Moodle. In this way, we'll gain both, and then also we can add, of course, version management and one-time updating a slide. Let's say we have a slide, we have a presentation that is used in more than one course, we can update it in one place, and then it will spread to all other courses. Thank you. I will be happy to be in touch. Here is the GitHub development links. You can always send information. That's my email. That's the QR. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for an awesome presentation. That looks like some really powerful tooling that a lot of us could use. All right, questions, anybody?
Does the video player for the end user support anything like completion or tracking of how much of the video they've watched?
It supports completion. Right now, only completion. I mean, if he gets to the end, he has a completion on this activity. And of course, we can use percentage and something.
So you mentioned a few clients that you've got. Can you comment on the scale of usage? For instance, are they streaming HD and 4K, and what kind of volume?
We are using open source tools for streaming, and it's very scaled. I mean, Nginx and Kaltura VOD module are intended for very high capacity. There's no problem. I mean, the files, we do save the files in the Moodle video, in the Moodle data space, but we need direct access for the web servers to this directory. It means that we are doing a kind of hack for letting the web server direct access to a specific directory inside Moodle data, and then it can handle any MP4 file without any problem.
Hello, thank you for your information. Is possible to access to the video directory by the students? The video directory list?
It depends on system role. You can give the students access to this directory if you give them the system role. And even we are starting to work in one place to let access to the portal that I show you. I mean the YouTube-like portal, also to students without any way to edit, just to watch and to search. Yes, so it's already implemented. Inside you can even define a set of IPs that can access without any authentication.
So, hello. How big of an impact has the video editing tool to Moodle performance?
Most of the work is done server-side using FFmpeg, if you know that it's a Linux command line, not only Linux, it's a command line that is used for converting videos. So it depends on your way of managing your Moodle servers. If you have a Moodle server that is beside and is using for the cron jobs, so all the work will be there. That's not a problem, it's just a design way. And that's the hard work of the studio and the video usage editing.
Hi, thank you. I'm a language teacher, so we use videos a lot. Are there plans for the videos to be available in other contexts than just the modules, for example in the quiz? Because I like the feature for students to be able to add bookmarks and comments, and we use a lot of videos in quizzes, and that would be one.
Okay, so
okay. I have another question. So this so far, if I understand correctly, it's one directory for all users of the Moodle platform. Okay, are there plans to make it dependent on users to have different collections according to users?
Okay,
Because
so I'll just answer both questions. First of all, I didn't show it, but there could be a column that show direct access to the video. So if the teacher is just copying the URL of the MP4 file, he can use it everywhere in Moodle. It's less useful than the module, but it can be used. So that's the first question. And about users, I will just go back to one of the screens. I didn't get all the details, but here we don't have it. But you can decide in the settings which columns you show in the directory. One of the columns that you can show is this video private or public. And between all users of this directory, everyone has his own videos, and he decides if it's his own video or it's public. Public means all users of the directory see it. So it's already in this way that everyone has his own videos.
All right, and that's all we've got time for, so one more round of applause.
Thank you very much.
What
are you talking about? Random Moodle stuff. Tags, that's a trace. Metadata is so exciting.
With Marcus in the house. Marcus. Didn't spot you. I don't have. I do. Right. Thumb drive, please. Right. Bit of housekeeping. If you're sitting near one of the edge aisles and there are empty seats towards the middle, please shuffle towards the middle so that people that are standing can get access to those remaining seats. Everybody, if you have a seat to the side of you, please shuffle on down. Same up there at the back. Come this way, please. If you would, free up some of those seats on the edge. Excellent. All right. Next up, we have Marcus Green talking to us, or from Titus talking to us about where is the teacher version. Big round of applause, please.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of my presentation is called Moodle, Metadata, and More, but it is more interesting than the word metadata sounds. So who am I? I'm a senior developer with Titus Learning. We're certified Moodle partners in the UK and Hong Kong, and I work out of Salts Mill in Yorkshire, which is really, really beautiful. I spent 12 years as a teacher, and I'm a plugin developer. The thing I'm going to talk about today was inspired by a thread on the Moodle Users Association discussion forum, and I'm looking around for, yes, if you're not a member of the Moodle Users Association, join immediately, well, after my presentation. It doesn't cost much, and you can see that it inspires people, it inspired this presentation. So, the question was, why isn't there a teacher version? And by teacher version, I mean information on how you might teach something, what are the logic behind the exercises, and some model exercises. Now, I must warn you, there will be some speculation. Okay, this is not all about facts and how to do stuff. There's going to be some speculation. I'm going to talk about core tags. Okay, I put out a thing on Twitter recently saying, do you have a policy on tags? This is a poll. Does your organization have a policy on tags? Or do you have a policy and is it followed? Or what is a tag? So I'd like to put your hands in the air if your organization has any kind of a policy on the use of tags. Whoa, I like you. I must talk to you after this. That's cool. Okay. I'm also going to talk about one third-party plugin. And this third-party plugin, again, was a bit of an inspiration from the Moodle Users Association, and the gentleman who created it is here, which is useful. He'll know more than me. And some, as the Beach Boys would say, wouldn't it be nice? So, no teacher should be an island, and the Moodle mission is empowering educators to improve our world. But sometimes it feels like teachers feel like they are an island, and by that I mean you've got fantastic tools and a blank course, and go away and learn and create it. Okay, wouldn't it be nice if reusing stuff was easier? Now, I want to refer to, the title is Metadata. And if you look up on the source of all truth on planet Earth, Wikipedia to you, the word metadata, it will say it is data about data, which is entirely correct and completely unhelpful. You need some examples to make sense of that. So one of the examples is tags for resources. And when you create a tag for something, it's not the actual data, it's describing the data. Another example of metadata is how difficult something is, which is a bit of a That's a vague concept, but is it something that you want to know? Because you don't want to give your students something they're going to look at it and go, it's too easy, or, what? I'm leaving this course, it's too hard. So metadata is very useful. So as I was saying earlier on, this is the Moodle mission. We're going to empower educators to improve our world, and here's some awesome tools. Get on with it. But wouldn't it be nice if you could look at content and it had not just the content, but the description about it? So, tags as metadata. And I think everybody in this room understands the concept of a hashtag, which has been popularized by Twitter. Moodle Global 19, okay? That's data about data. And the nice thing is, this is something that is in Moodle core, and I was going to ask a question about do you use them, but I think the show of hands earlier on has told me what I needed to know about that. So I will skip over that slide. Now, there is going to be speculation in this presentation, but I'm going to give you a hot tip, a useful piece of information. This is the Mount Orange School from Moodle.org HQ, and this is a really nice way to see how you can use metadata. And this is a tag cloud, and the bigger the font, the more frequently something is used. So you can see that they're really into cats at Mount Orange School, and films and fishing and football, okay? And you can have blocks that show this kind of view. However, there's something when I was preparing this presentation that struck me as very weird, because I'm really into quiz questions. I love, look, I made my own. Let's see, quiz questions, Gatco, it's lovely. It turns out that if you tag questions, and I do, they show up in the cloud that you just saw, but people rarely want to actually have them show up in the cloud. Plus, when you click on them, it doesn't actually take you to the question. So I'm going to have a practical tip for you now. There will be a quiz on this. What you can do is you can go to the tag collections, and this will be in the slide, and you can take your questions and move them into a different tag group here. So you've got quiz questions, and then they don't show up in the cloud and kind of pollute your cloud. Okay? I thought of that one myself. I'd be delighted if somebody comes back to me and says, yes, that was a useful tip. I'll be disappointed, but I won't be surprised if somebody says, no, that doesn't make any sense. But onwards, there's a great new feature in Moodle 3.8, and I think Tim Hunt, the great Tim Hunt, was the main person behind this, and that is that you can, you could filter by tags, but now it will show you the first few tags in the question bank. And I find that particularly useful because if you have a policy, as I personally do, of having all questions have a tag, I can just glance down and I can say, oh, I forgot to add some tags to that. So yeah, that's practical. I'll be moving on to the speculative. So metadata examples, how does it meet the syllabus? Okay? Quiz instances, what does this test cover and what to look out for? And that's really important, I think, because occasionally I'm giving students a quiz and they go, we haven't covered this. So it'd be really useful if you have a bit of metadata that suggested what it covered at a high level. I mean, you can include that in the description, but specifically for metadata. And this is now the potentially useful thing. What are the typical errors made by students? And it would be nice if we could add this to just about anywhere in Moodle. So why can't we have, when do we want it? We want it when they'll give it to us. When they'll program it. It would be lovely if we could have globally configured metadata fields, ideally with different data types. You might want a checkbox and a short field and a long field. And we want this to be shown generally only to teachers, okay? Well, this is the kind of thing that would be nice if we could have. Imagine this as an assignment or a workshop or something like that, and at the end of it, you have your own organisation has decided you're going to have a field for the criteria addressed, and then you can add the description of this criteria to here. That would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? In the words of the Beach Boys, wouldn't it be nice? You can. You can-ish. Thanks to the glory that is Mike Churchward, there is a metadata plugin. This is a local plugin that adds new options, and the one I find very interesting is that you can add them to courses and any activity, any module. When the activity chooser pops up, you can have new fields appear at the bottom of that. So how does it work? Through magic. It has a pluggable architecture and uses Moodle programming hooks that have come out over the last few years, and it adds new fields to the editing forms. In fact, at Titus Learning, we've used this, glory of open source, we've used this for another project. So it's not just as metadata, but we've used it as a basis for something else. And this is a screenshot of the settings that tells you the actual things you can add new metadata fields for. Okay, by the way, this is in the plugins database. You can download it. Mike considers it beta. Pretty damn awesome for beta in my view. So you can add new metadata for course categories, cohorts, courses, groups, modules, and users. But the thing I really like, I find this very exciting, but I'm quite easily excited, is to add it to modules. Okay? I'm going to go over here because I'm not giving these people as much love as I have over there. Okay. This, by the way, I've installed this on Moodle 3.8. It works on recent versions of Moodle. So as I was saying, wouldn't it be nice? Metadata in core for everything. Oh, that's the Beach Boys, by the way. One of the people where I work, he makes up, I do my slides and then he makes them slightly more pretty and professional. So that's the metadata plugin. You can download and install that right away, right now. But in my fantasy world, I'm very dull fantasies, wouldn't it be nice if this was in core so that you could have them for everything? For example, quiz questions. Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? At the moment, Mike will confirm or deny this. It doesn't get included in the backups of items. That was what you want as well. So if you're going to share things, it'd be nice with some backups. And then it'd be nice if those metadata reports, so you could check who is adding metadata to their various activities. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions? And probably Mike will have the answers.
Questions, people?
Thank you. I'm aware of this plugin, or this plugin set, Metadata, and it's been around for a long time. And I'm really grateful that Mike created it. But we don't use it in production because we just needed the custom course fields. So metadata for courses. This has now arrived in Moodle Core, thanks to the guys at Moodle Workplace who merged something over to Moodle Core, finally.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. You said that you are using this at Titus Learning for other projects.
Yes.
If you look into the glassball for the foreseeable future, where do you see the future? Merging these additional metadata, for example, for activities over to core, or for strengthening Mike's work and for keeping Mike's plugin sustainable?
The short answer is that I don't know. The way we used it, we actually added a file capability, which doesn't usually make a lot of sense because this was in a heavily customized setup of a bunch of plugins whereby we wanted the users to be able to add an icon to an activity such as a quiz, but then we showed it in a different form, and I don't see that that makes a lot of sense in core. The thing I like about Mike's plugin is that it's generic based on the context rather than being, because at one point I thought, you know what, I'll add a teacher field into my own question type, which I could do quite easily. I've got two question types, the gap fill and word select. I like to mention them at every opportunity. They're really easy to use. And I could have done that, but then it would just be my question type. And what we want to have the ability to enhance everything. So I could have then spoken to Tim Hunt and got him to add it, maybe persuade him to add it to all the questions. But what you really want is something generic. And I'm not aware of the architecture of the way that's been done, the stuff that's recently been done. And I really like the thing with Mike's approach is that it uses hooks, it's generic, it can fit that wide range of different activities. So
Core is also generic.
That's cool.
It would need more love.
Yeah.
So it's also generic in core, but it would
I
need
need to look.
work to transfer it to other things.
I need to look at that. The thing about any kind of change like this is that you're reluctant to put a lot of time into it unless you know what future it has. And the two futures are moving into core and improving the plugin. And the nice thing about the whole thing about plugin architectures is that you can be confident that it will happen. And Mike made the point to me recently that one of the reasons sometimes to choose plugins is that it can be easier to persuade a plugin maintainer to add a feature or update it than go through the inevitable layers of negotiation required for to get Moodle Core to include something. And also Moodle Core has to satisfy many more stakeholders. I mean, one of the ways to approach this, of course, is to approach the plugin developers with, large buckets of money. That can be quite useful in getting changes into plugins. No, I say that humorously, but I think sometimes people don't appreciate that, plugin developers, you approach them. I've sometimes done things for persuasion and amusing photographs, but money also works. Works very well.
Right. Other questions? All right, I have one. How would you suggest somebody who doesn't have any good quality metadata processes inside their organization find surface area to get started? What are the easy basics?
Yes. When I started to the reason I started looking at Mike's plugin is because my Titus Learning started using it for something. And my thinking was what you need is a bunch of reports. And I think it would be really useful addition for Mike's plugin for somebody to come up with, for example, some ad hoc queries, or I've never quite got my head around the configurable reports or configurable reports. So that would be the first thing I'd do. If you're thinking about, can I have some metadata, and if number one is get some reports on your tags, okay, because that's a core feature already. On the subject of tags, by the way, wouldn't it be nice, Beach Boys, wouldn't it be nice if you could have bulk tagging? That'd be a nice feature, wouldn't it? If you think of tags as metadata. So you've got a bunch of questions and you know what they've all got to have the same tag. That'd be a nice feature. But I think reports is the answer, is somebody commission somebody to write some reports, and it wouldn't take a lot of time, like one report writer a day or 1.5 days. Then you can get your head around, if people are using the metadata or indeed the new core metadata.
Any other questions? In that case, last round of applause for Marcus Green.
Thank you very much.
A couple of minutes for the next session now, folks. And I'm prepared to ransom your thumb drive as well. Oh, I gave it back to you. All right, folks, a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you're on this half of the room and there's an empty seat to your right, please shuffle down away from the doors. If you're on that half of the room and there's an empty seat to your left, please shuffle down towards the middle so that when the room fills up after the session has started. Excellent. Thanks very much. All right, coming up, we have satisfaction survey from Christoph and Siri. Thank you very much, guys. Take it away.
Either. Okay. Okay. Hi everybody. My name is Christoph and this is Cyril. We are from Cyberlearn HSSO. This is the University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Western Switzerland, and we will speak about our plugin that we developed, the satisfaction survey. So first, we are very sorry because our English is not very good, but we will try to do our best. Thank you. So we work at the e-learning center of the HSSO Cyberlearn. We manage 2 Moodle platforms, one for blended courses and one for MOOCs. We teach to professors how to use Moodle. We do a lot of webinar, physical courses, workshop, and so on. We have a help desk service, and as a developer, we develop some tools and plugins for Moodle for our university. So we are here to speak about the satisfaction survey. This is a plugin that we developed this year, and there were some needs of professors of our university. They want to get feedback from students at the end of courses. So we took the questionnaire plugin on Moodle and we had some feature like we added a global question to the survey. We made a great design with several graphics and so on. We had the export PDF function of the report page. You can add your own logo of the university on the report. You can choose which participant do the survey or not. We added some thematics to question and so on. But Cyril here will explain you all this feature with a little demo.
Okay. Thank you, Christoph. So here is the plugin when you're logged as a professor. So when you're a professor, you have four main options to manage your plugin. So the first main option is like in every other Moodle activities. There is the edit settings where you can change the name of of your activity and the other things like there are some rights. And then you can edit the plugin in this way. There you can manage the question, you can add questions like in the questionnaire plugin. And then when your plugin is ready to use, you can also have a quick preview to see if your activity is ready to be used by your students. And then you can also manage the participant. I will show you how it works later. And then, like in the questionnaire plugin, you can send a reminder. But in our case, you cannot select specific students. You send a reminder to everyone who has not answered the survey yet. Then you can get the report. So there is a report with graphics. You can also delete, as it's mentioned, delete all the responses. You can download the data on a CSV file, and then you can also access to all the responses. And the thing which is really important, like in the questionnaire plugin, all the responses are anonymous. Here is how it looks like, how the managing question or the managing question works. So you can add the first and the main question. This is the question about the plug, about the activity, about the course. And then you can add a few other questions. Those questions are made of the question types like essay box, radio buttons, Likert squall, text box, or a yes/no question. That's easy. There is no more question. In fact, something maybe you're asking yourself. There is no link between this plugin and the bank of the question bank at the moment. Then you can also, as it is mentioned, add label and page break if you want. Then here is the add and remove participant web page. So in order to take part of the survey, you have to be involved in the course. You don't have to be only a student. You can also be a professor or manager, any roles. And you will be in this list. And then the teacher who has made the survey has to choose which students are allowed or not to take part of the survey. So you will simply pick up some students and add them to the left section, and then they will be able to use and to take part of the survey. And this is how it looks like, how the report looks like when the survey is finished. So here you can see how many students have participated in the activity, and you can also see easily the responses about the main question here. So here was the main question of this plugin, of this activity, sorry. And we also implemented thematics. There are two types of thematics. Here is one of the thematics. So this was something asked by our professors. And then you will get all the data and responses about each question on the report.
Okay. So, what the next step? Now, until the end of the year, the plugin is in test in one classroom. The first semester of the 2020, we will do some improvements and fix bugs following the test and feedback of students. We hope that in September 2020, the plugin will be released on our Moodle platform of the HSSO. And at the end of the year 2020, we want to share this plugin to the community of Moodle in moodle.org. So if you have questions, thank you. Yeah.
My question is, you're talking that you will share the plugin to the community, but there is based on mod questionnaire. Why are you not contributing back to this plugin, because it's already used widely?
Mm-hmm.
Have you so different features included?
Yeah, because there is some minor features that are very different from the questionnaire plugin. So this is not a minor improvement. We had to change the
They wanted to have their own plugin, so we did the plugin that way. But we are totally aware of that the questionnaire plugin will be improved. That's normal, but we will have to have always a look at what is improved in that plugin and maybe add some new features from the questionnaire to our plugin. That's
Other questions? A follow-up.
Yes, the other question is, do you have web services or a migration for people who were using before the questionnaire? Maybe they will switch to this version because, it's
not now. Okay. Not now.
Yeah, but it's an interesting plugin, and I will contact you because we have some similar challenges.
Thank you.
Down front.
So unfortunately I have no voice. Questionnaire is compatible to the app. Are you trying to porting this to the Moodle app?
I'm sorry?
Yes. Are you thinking about making it usable in the mobile app?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oui, non, mais je crois que c'est bon. Hein. I think it's. We are not the developer, but I think it's okay. Yeah.
More questions?
Hello. What about the context level? I see the plugin works in a course, but the survey maybe will be a standard for all the platforms. So it will be nice the survey will be available for all the course, just one survey.
I think if you put the plugin on the main page, maybe it's work. Yeah. It's the context level of the first course. I think it's the main page. Yeah.
Is that, are you okay with the answer? Okay. Is there any other question?
All right, in that case, round of applause. All right, we've got a little gap between now and our next presentation, so if you want to take the opportunity for a glass of water or something. One of them. Funny. You might have to check afterwards to see what's on them, to see which one's yours. All right, a little bit of housekeeping before we start, folks. If you're on this side and you have a spare seat to your right, shuffle that way. If you're on this side and you have a spare seat to your left, shuffle this way. That way people coming in late can get easy access to the chairs. That includes the lads down the front here. Come down to this side if you would, please. And also the folks on this side. Any chance you could shuffle to the seats on this side? People joining in? Cool. Just there. Thank you. You're all right. Thanks very much. All right, now we have Uma Montero from editorial Eddie Newman, I think. Thanks very much.
Buenos días, soy Inmaculada Montero y voy a hablar un poco de las restricciones de acceso de las actividades. Las restricciones de acceso es cuando creamos una actividad o una sección o un recurso, siempre hay una sección que pone restricciones de acceso, que nunca sabemos cómo se usa, pero que la verdad es que nos puede dar muchísimo juego a la hora de crear un flujo muy dinámico en el curso, decir, bueno, hasta que no hagas una actividad no vas a usar la otra, y bueno, puede ayudar mucho a que sea más dinámico cualquier curso. ¿Qué tenemos que hacer primero? Primero tenemos que tener activadas las restricciones de acceso. En las características avanzadas de la administración, pues las habilitamos y después, dentro de las extensiones, en las secciones de acceso, pues podemos habilitar o deshabilitar las que queramos que se vean. No todas las que hayamos instalado, a lo mejor nos interesa que las vea el profesor, en este caso, que vaya a crear la actividad o el gestor. ¿Cómo podemos crear las restricciones de acceso? Pues como hemos dicho antes, primero creamos una actividad o una sección, lo que deseemos, y en la sección de restricciones de acceso, pues aquí nos sale un botoncito de añadir restricción. Luego tenemos un menú y elegimos la que queramos. A veces no nos salen todas, pero no salen por alguna razón. Si no tenemos grupos en el curso, grupo no nos va a salir nunca. Entonces pensamos que es que no lo tenemos bien hecho, pero en realidad es porque nos falta algo de información. Si no tenemos agrupaciones, no nos va a salir agrupación. Y así. Podemos hacer tanto una restricción simple como una restricción de grupo, o sea, de conjunto. Podemos hacerla más compleja y dentro de ella meter más restricciones. Una cosa que me preguntan mucho, y porque se lían un montón, es con los ojitos. El ojito no hace que se desactive la restricción. Lo que hace es que se muestre tanto en gris o que no lo muestres. Si tú no cumples la restricción, a veces no nos interesa de si tengo una restricción habilitada para la clase de segundo A, no me interesa que la clase de primero A sepa que no puede hacer actividad porque pertenece a la clase de primero A. Entonces, se pone que no vean que no cumplen la condición y entonces pasa desapercibido a sus ojos. Con los ojitos se puede jugar entre lo que queremos que haga y lo que no, o sea, lo que debe cumplir y lo que no debe cumplir. Entonces, dependiendo de si tenemos que cumpla todas las condiciones o que no las cumpla, el ojito se pondrá de forma global, de manera que se ocultarán todas las restricciones que hayamos puesto, o se pondrá por grupos. Si solo tenemos una restricción, evidentemente por grupos no va a salir, va a ser siempre global. Pero si tenemos varias restricciones de si pertenece al rol de estudiante y al grupo de segundo A, y además comienza, la actividad tiene que se abre en 10 días después del inicio de curso. Podemos combinar un poco lo que queremos que vea o no vea el estudiante también. Pero siempre, dependiendo de lo que tengamos elegido, se podrá seleccionar de forma global o de forma particular. Esto lo vemos aquí. Por ejemplo, podemos elegir todas las restricciones o alguna de las restricciones. Esto es como cuando veíamos, tienes que cumplir la primera restricción, la segunda, la tercera. Esto es para cuando hay más de una restricción, pues si tú lo llenas, no te va a salir esta opción. Pero pues, si elegimos todas, es como si pusiéramos una, ¿no? Aquí. Se tiene que cumplir esto y se tiene que cumplir esto. Y los ojitos no tienen por qué ver a todos los alumnos. Podemos decidir que ellos no van a ver que no pertenecen al grupo de la clase 1. Pero sí van a ver esto para que vean que se abre la actividad el día 18 y se cierra el día 20, porque no nos interesa que lo vean todo. En este caso, el ENI nos permite poner aquí un OR y sin embargo se oculta todo. ¿Se oculta todo o no? No se puede elegir o unas u otras. Lo mismo pasa pues con el más. Lo que debe cumplir y lo que no debe cumplir. El más te obliga al final a tener un AN, que tienes que verlas todas y el ojito siempre se pone por grupos de restricciones. Y el más no, pues al final lo que te hace es que te lo hace global y tienes que cumplirlo todo en este caso porque tiene un ON. Si tuviera un ENI sería distinto. Pero te lo pone global y aquí te lo pone por grupos. Como en la tabla anterior, te dice un poquito la combinación de lo que elijas entre el más y el OL, te dirá si puedes ocultarlo o ponerlo en gris en función de la combinación que hayas elegido. Porque luego dices, es que no me sale o me sale en gris. Pues bueno, hay que mirar un poco la combinación que hemos elegido. Entonces, Aquí he puesto unas tablas que aunque parezcan que no pegan mucho, pero de verdad yo las estudié en el instituto, en la parte de ética y filosofía. Esto es la parte de tablas de verdad. Habéis estudiado a lo mejor, no tenéis que ser de matemáticas, como he dicho, esta parte de letras, las leyes de Morgan, etc. Entonces aquí tenemos los conectores lógicos, por si lo queremos ver un poco cómo funciona una combinación, una combinación de todas las restricciones, cómo las usamos. Aquí tenemos el AND y el OR, las tablas, el resultado que nos dan, y en función de lo que nos da, esta será la conjunción, esta será la disyunción, y esto es la segunda ley del condicional, que nos dice cuando los dos son iguales es cuando vamos a poder acceder a la restricción, tanto del más como el resultado de lo que funcionan las restricciones. Aquí tenemos un ejemplo de lo que podemos combinar, que estaba contando un montón. Voy a correr porque me quedan 2 minutos. Estas son las restricciones de Moodle, que podemos tener en función de la actividad que ya hemos completado, del acceso, en función de la fecha, desde o hasta cuándo, en función del porcentaje de la nota que tenemos, o de un grupo. Y como tenemos un grupo, tenemos una agrupación también. Para que no sepa una agrupación, pues tenemos varias clases. Unas pertenecerán a la Alianza Rebelde y otros pues al Imperio. También lo podemos hacer por perfiles del usuario. Los que tienen el email que pertenece a un dominio, los que pertenecen a un país, a una institución, para restringir un poquito en función de lo que tenemos. Luego podemos hacer conjuntos, como hemos visto antes, aplicando la lógica compleja. Hay que tener mucho cuidado, pero de verdad que en cuanto lo desplaste un poquito, se sabe muy bien cómo funciona. Y esto es lo que nos proporciona la comunidad en la 3.7. Hay más, pero bueno, he puesto solo de la 3.7. Tenemos primero un lenguaje, que es que cuando hay más de un lenguaje podrías poner un documento en español y otro en inglés, y en función del lenguaje del estudiante le enseñarías uno u otro. Así, pues sería más cómodo si pones las instrucciones. Por dirección IP, tanto por su red como por IP. En este caso no está soportado por muchas de las actividades, pero ayer explicaron un plugin que va a estar disponible en diciembre, que me imagino que funcionará súper bien. Por el rol de curso. Elegimos si es un estudiante, solo lo ven los profesores, solo lo ven los estudiantes. Con una password, es normal. O durante el curso como permanentemente, o cada vez que hace inicio de sesión. Ponemos una password para entrar, que puede ser un código, una clave secreta, podemos poner caput draconis, podemos hacerlo muy divertido. Y por cohortes. Ayer ya explicaron una presentación sobre cohortes y explicaron las restricciones. Luego la podréis ver cuando las pongan. En acceso, si puede acceder o no acceder desde la aplicación de móvil. Cuando un curso está completado, podemos poner un certificado y que solo salga cuando lo han completado. Que eso nos puede ayudar por geolocalización. Hay que instalar un bloque, pero adicional, y que es HTTPS, pero bueno. Y luego está con aquel bloque consiguiendo puntos, en el que puedes decir que, bueno, si he llegado a este nivel, pues me hace... Vale, y este es súper divertido, porque vas dejando, por ejemplo, pones monedas, dejas monedas por el curso y le puedes poner que se han conseguido 10 monedas, pueden acceder a la actividad. Por fecha relativa y por otro curso completado. Necesitas un curso previo para poder acceder. ¿Ves?
That was amazing work getting all the way to the end in this time slot. We have enough time for one question.
Whatever you want to ask in Spanish or English, you can try to tell you to translate. Okay?
There'll be plenty more time to catch up after the session as well. All right, thanks very much, folks. One more round of applause.
Pues la que más otra vez te dé.
With two people in the room, it makes it easy. You can do it with one person in the room, but with two, it makes it easy.
You had a good party. Yes. Have you met Luca?
No.
As a sort of professional development thing, he came to the OU for a fortnight to learn more about